Hello again. Quickly, let's look at what the newspapers are saying, and then I'll introduce my guest to you and to begin the discussion. Now, we'll start off with the Business and Financial Times. It says Executive Women Network officially launched. Yam production sees less investments despite strong economic prospects. Those are the stories captured by BNFT. On its back page, it says Ghana Home Loans launches 380 million cedis program. The Daily Graphic says two judges dismissed, and Wafa hold hearts in Accra. That's the story on its back page. But on the front page as well, it has President inaugurates Faith Community SHS at Chinderi, and tipper truck crashes tricycle, killing 9. The Daily Guide newspaper on its front page says AKUFO-ADDO, Nana KONADU lives in danger. AKUFO-ADDO and Nana KONADU live in danger. And also Tabia Support Otumfo Fund, and 2 judges sacked. Tabia Support Otumfo Fund. And also the Business Finder says massive layoff to rock banks. Massive layoff to rock banks. Business Finder, that's the story captured. And also IMF must be frank with assessments. IMF must be frank with assessments, also by the Business Finder. The Herd News says Mahama fever grips Volta region. Mahama fever grips Volta region. And also, we can't guarantee peace if polls are rigged, the NPP. And we must all abide by the laws of the land, Neo Kainja III tells Ghanaians. Today newspaper says horror. Man buries wife beside manhole, and Obuasi assembly broke. Ghanaian Times, I'll look at the Daily Express and the Ghanaian Times newspaper as my final 2 papers. And the Ghanaian Times newspaper says that 9 family members perish as their tricycle crashes with truck. That story is also captured by the Ghanaian Times newspaper. NADMO is not ready. NADMO is not ready. And 2 more judges dismissed. NADMO story is a story that we'll look at. The Daily Express newspaper this morning says that Ghana reduces malaria deaths by 45%. Ghana reduces malaria deaths by 45%. And also 49-kilometer Dodo Pepeso Nkwanta Road inaugurated, and Lordina Foundation receives HIV and syphilis test kits. Aftermath in Ecuador, that's the Ecuador quake. And in the middle page, it actually has captured if you get the paper, you can look at it. It has a lot of pictures from the president's tour, accounting to the people tour of the Volta region in there. That's also been captured by other newspapers, but the Daily Express dedicated some time to where they've been, and the pictures actually to tell the story of what's happening in the Volta region. All right, so now we're back in the studio here, and let me introduce my guests for this morning. We have Professor Clement Jidonu. He is the president of the Accra Institute of Technology. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome. Also, Dr. Edward Kwapon is the CEO, HR Perspective. Good morning to you, and welcome to the show as well. Good to have you gentlemen join us. We're also expecting Nana Fredria Ajiman-Pambo, who's the executive director for InvestPro, and I'm sure he'll join us a bit later on though. But we'll have to start the conversation now, and a story captured by the Ghanaian Times newspaper about NADMO not being ready, and that story is on page 4 of the paper. It says here that, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, it says it is currently not in the position to promptly respond and provide relief items when a disaster occurs in the country. And the acting coordinator, Brigadier Francis Sanziri, explained that the organization did not have enough funds, and it currently owes suppliers to the tune of 40 million cedis. Prof, that's not good news, especially given the months we're in and where we're going.
Yeah, that's quite serious and revealing. For is that the acting coordinator of NADMO to say that they are not ready. In other words, they are not battle ready to address some of the problems we may have in the future. It's quite serious. I would like to know, certainly, the activities of NADMO is budgeted for. What is the issue? I mean, did they have were they giving their money and because of a lot of disasters they've finished spending it, or were they actually giving the money at all? So certainly these are issues that one need to look at, but the news is not a good one, that they are not ready, especially coming from the acting director or acting coordinator of NADMO. It's quite serious. Okay.
All right, then. Also, Dr. Edward Kwapon.
Yeah, I share the same views with the good prof. It's very worrisome. It means that in the event of any disaster, help will not be coming to provide relief to those who may be affected. And particularly in Accra, when the rains have started, then we are in serious crisis. We know what happened on June 3rd, 2015. You know, the death toll and all that, so yes. But then the question is, when a disaster occurs, do we, after the disaster, sit back to do a post-mortem and to put together our findings and recommendations going forward, or we just let it pass and wait till another disaster occurs? And if indeed we do carry out post-mortem and come up with reports, are these reports sent to the appropriate quarters? And what do these appropriate quarters do with their reports? For instance, after June 3rd disaster last year, one would have thought that a comprehensive report would have been submitted to government with recommendations, and then a line item in our national budget will have been provided for NADMO, knowing that disasters will come when they will come. Nobody, you know, some of them are force measures. There are things that are matters of, you know, nature, and there's nothing we can do. So what provision have we made in our budget to pay off the debts? The 40 million or the 50 million that he's talking about did not accumulate in a day. It's over a period of time. And what I hear is that the money given to them was to pay for last year's. Sure. It means that the arrears are still there. So why are we not paying off these debts? And 40 million, yes, big money, I will admit. But how big is it that we cannot, you know, provide for this in our budget? So for me, government hasn't taken the matter seriously enough, and the Minister of Finance perhaps has not given the appropriate attention. It should be a priority item in our budget. So that's my comment for now.
Okay, right. Prof, quick one on, especially, you know, this is the month of April. We'll go to May, and then June we'll be marking the, what's it called, the first anniversary of the June 3 disaster. Such an unfortunate day, which was unfortunate. The rains compounded by the fire at the filling station. What does it say about the whole posturing of we talk and shout about issues, disasters when they happen, and then as soon as, you know, give it a month or two, it subsides, we go back to sleep?
Yes, it's true. I mean, it reminds me of a story of a bird. When the rain is falling, you say the rain should go away so that she can make her nest. When the rain goes away, you say, I'm not going to do any nest anymore. I think that is what happened. Yes, it's true. I mean, after disasters, nothing happened after that. We just wait for the next disaster. In other words, our whole disaster management is all about crisis management. We don't plan. We know when the rain comes. Probably the coordinator of NADMO is sounding some alarm bells. Okay? The possible time that we could have some problem is approaching. I'm just telling you Ghanaians that, look guys, we are broke. We don't have money. So when disasters come, don't come blaming us that, how come you guys are not fixing the problem? So I think for him to release that statement at this time means that he is sounding some these alarm bells. The question is, we need to know that the parents, why are they not giving enough money? Is it possible that they were giving the money and the money was not well used? Okay, we cannot conclude that they were not giving enough money. But certainly if they're not giving enough money, certainly it's something that we need to look at. Yes, you're correct. For us, disasters are things that happen. Let's wait. When it happens, we'll fix it. If it didn't happen, then we don't fix it. But we don't plan for it. I think that's the nature. I mean, look at cycle. I mean, Kwame Nkrumah cycle. During the time of our Tamils, the whole place was flooded. Is that correct? The president went there at that time, inspect things and say a couple of things will happen. the rain came, we have another flood, even more serious one. So it's quite clear to us that when we say disaster in Ghana or NADMO, activities in Ghana is all about crisis management. We don't plan for it. Is it money or is it actually lack of planning? Now, the question is, these NADMO people, do they actually have a budget? Okay? We know the gravity and the volume of those type of disasters we got. So we should have some idea about how much they will spend in a year and then prepare for it. 40 million, I won't call 40 million Ghana cedis a lot of money.
For NADMO?
Yes, if they own that money, then the question is how much were they giving in the first place? Because 40 million Ghana cedis is not a lot of money. They're just about $1 million US dollars for a big country like ours. And disaster prone as we are. So $40 million Ghana cedis is not a lot of money. Okay. If they owe that money.
He said that I think they owe about 83 million cedis owed to contractors, and government has released just about 43 million cedis, and check was issued, by government. Yes.
Well, it's probably 43 million cedis. Ghana government released 43 million cedis to pay over what 83 million debt. That's the issue. As a country, I'm sure if there's some disaster happen now, the government will come and say, well, we are mobilizing money to, so that's I said, crisis management.
There's 50 million cedi fund for the June 3 disaster.
Yes, I think the coordinator knows what he's doing. He's sounding an alarm bell. So you guys, we don't have money. We owe money. And disaster could come anytime. If it comes, don't tell me that I didn't tell you that we don't have money.
Okay. Quick comment, and then we'll move forward about how we will probably assemble and remember the people, the 152 I think that we lost on the day, and then we just go back and do the same things over and over again and expect a different results.
Yeah, my take on this is that there are other avenues for raising money in support of disasters in this country, but we do not exploit those or explore those avenues. One radio station launched an appeal for raincoats for police personnel somewhere last year, and within the space of 2 weeks, over I've forgotten the exact number, but thousands of raincoats have been provided by companies and individuals in support of the police. Disaster management. If you're able to put together a package and launch it and invite the public, the business community, the philanthropists, I believe we can raise money to support government even if we don't have the money in our budget. So perhaps we are not being innovative enough, we are not thinking outside the box, and we are just focusing on the consolidated fund, what we can get out of it to support disaster management in this country. So I think there is something.
I think the catchphrase for me this morning is that disaster management should not be crisis management. It should be planned activity, because we know we're going to have one or two mishaps here and there. It should not be crisis management. Wait, and when it happens, you start to groping around and look for money. It's very important for them to plan for those things. I think that's what the guy is saying.
Once you talk about planning, I know I still wanted to move on, but just a quick question about where it has to do with buildings in waterways, and you go in there to pull, whether it's AMA or LECMA, they go in there to pull those buildings down, and then they tell you that you're ejecting people and that you've got to put a human face to it. Should we move beyond that kind of excuse, because it looks as if it's becoming one too many?
Well, the planning I'm talking about is planning to manage the disaster management problem.
I understand totally.
Yeah, the other planning of what? I mean the city planning, the town planning, that is a big issue. We've always have that. Look at around again the industrial area along the railway line where they have cleared. Some guys have already started occupying the place already. That's part of the indiscipline also in our country. Even if the city councils try to do something about it, people go there. Last time I passed through there. People are parking cars there, people are having some temporary tent there. Of course, this is all part of the problem. But when the rain comes now, everybody will start to shout, say, how come we didn't sort it? So disaster management should not be a crisis management. It should be a planned activity, and then we punish people when they disobey the laws, so that at least we all don't suffer when this thing happens. Okay, all right then.
We'll move on to some more stories now. On the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper has a big story about, AKUFO-ADDO and Nana KONADU lives in danger. Nana KONADU lives in danger here. And before we get to the details of it, I know yesterday, for instance, Fonka held mentioned that Nana KONADU Ajiman's life is in danger, and that her particular man appears at programs that she goes to, and that person demands that they see Nana KONADU Agyeman, and he's never allowed to see him. First of all, what do you make about the fact that, you know, we put it in the media? It doesn't look like they've even made an official complaint to the police. I'll start with you, Prof.
Well, you started with me again.
Yes.
Well, that is just the headlines. I don't know very...
No, that's why I gave more, like, for instance, the Fonka, we understand it's a particular gentleman who keeps appearing at her programs and demands that he sees here. And my question really has to do with, you know, it's in the media, you know, we've not heard of any official complaints to the police, that kind of thing. What does it
Yes,
do?
that is the issue. When I heard about it, we still have police force in this country. Eh? Sure. If they suspect that this guy is trying to behave in a mischievous way, following the former first lady, they just have to report it to the police. Okay, what did they want us to do? If they think that this guy is actually trailing the first lady, the former first lady, they must report it to the police. So up to now, the police have not actually commented that this issue have come on their table. So it's quite difficult for we, the ordinary citizens, to even to look at this. Is this something that they are a little bit happy about a little bit? Or is it really as serious as they are putting it? If it's that serious, what is the police doing about it? Has the police been informed? Or have the police been informed but they are doing some undercover work? So it's not quite clear what the situation is. All I can see now is a little bit of hype, and we need to be very careful about this. That if this is true, then it's serious. And if it's not true, it's also serious. For you to make something which is not that true, that's serious. So I think it's very important, if it's what is happening, I think the police must come in, if they have not come in yet, rather than trying to make it as a media association. That would be my take on this.
Okay, all right. So just two quick paragraphs here, and the story captured by Daily Guide newspaper says here that, you know, some persons are said to be planning to assassinate former First Lady Nana KONADU Agyeman Rawlings. The allegation was made at a press conference, you know, in Accra, as I mentioned, by members of the Friends for Nana KONADU Agyeman Rawlings, Fonka, led by Ernest Jojo, who is the communications director of the group, and Joseph Bediakon, the national coordinator, and that's just it.
That's serious.
Dr. Kwapon, that's just it.
That's it, okay. Yeah. I see nothing wrong with whoever put it out there. Sure. I mean, the press must be interested in a story like this because these are very important personalities in our country. We know their political stand. And so, yes, some mischievous people may be planning to do, as it were, mischief to them. So, yes, if the press or the media, being the fourth estate of the realm, will bring this up for us to know and to take precautionary measures, I don't have an issue with it. Again, the personalities involved must be able to go to the police and the other agencies to report this. But then I also think that the CID, the BNI, the intelligence agencies must be able to pick up some of this information even before they come into the media. Okay. Because if they are up to their roles that they are supposed to play, then they should have picked up this information long before somebody mentions it at a press conference.
But this is where it gets interesting because there's a political twist to it. According to the story here, it says here that since the formation of the National Democratic Party, so they are fingering the ruling government, the ruling party has always felt that we are a threat to them. Absolutely. And have found every possible means to oppress us, and having failed on those countless locations, our leader has now become their target. So that political twist will take the seriousness of the issues out of the water, will blow it out of the water.
Yes, I really think if it's as serious as they are making it, there are organs of state who handle those matters. It's a case now with the police. Okay. It's a case with the police. You see, you can't just come and say, former First Lady, people are planning to assassinate a former First Lady of this country. And people are planning to assassinate the leader of the major opposition party in this country.
No, as alleged by
as alleged. You see, and all these things, the police are silent about it. I mean, we need to be careful about these things. Okay? If every day we woke up and the media telling us somebody is going to be assassinated, and the police have no comments and we have no knowledge of that, that's a serious matter. Sure. You see, assassination is not just any ordinary thing. It's something which is planned, okay? In fact, the word assassination means that the person is political, and it's a notable person. If you and I got bunked off now, nobody will say we are assassinated. Is that correct? They say somebody killed the guy.
Murdered.
Murdered, is that? You see, so you don't go around, woke up in the morning, okay? There might be some truth in what they are saying, but the way it's being portrayed, and then put into a political dimension, saying that we know the people who are likely to be behind this. We know
mentioning them.
Very good. I mean, we are getting into very dangerous grounds. Okay. So that the day that serious things, serious people will be threatening the life of our leaders in this country, we, the ordinary citizen, will not start taking it serious. Because if every other day you come on a paper that somebody is going to be assassinated, I say that it's something as simple as that. I think we need to be careful about this. There are some things we talk about. There are some things we need to take it through the proper decision. If this is as serious as that, the police, even an ordinary citizen, if you go and report to the police that this guy is threatening your life, to the police, local police, they will take it serious, won't they? Eh? When you go to a local press and say that this guy is want to this thing, the police will take it serious. This is a major matter. Have they been reported to the police? If it's not reported to the police, for me, it's quite difficult for me to take it as serious as it is.
As it should be.
As should be, because the way they handle it. So I really think that if the police don't comment on it, then certainly I think that there's some more to this story than just somebody planning to kill somebody.
Yeah, that's a compliment. Same with the political undertones. That's right. This story, as serious as it sounds, has taken.
Well, you see, the security agencies have a way of going about issues. At times, they do not want the public to know what they are doing.
Sure.
And then again, in the course or at the very height of the 3 South Africans who came into, as it were, train NPP security dispatch.
Yes.
The police gave assurance that they are on top of their job and they are providing security to every leading political person in this country, to the extent that if the MPP felt threatened, they could always go to the police, and police will release the personnel to protect them. Now, something has happened. We are not hearing from the police. We assume that the police are on top of their game, and therefore we should rest assured, or does it require of those personalities to lodge formal complaints with the security agencies to forestall any untoward event in this country? So there are questions.
Yes. In fact, there are more questions than answered. At the press conference.
Even before you come in, my apologies for interrupting you rudely. The Nana Akufo-ADDO one, Captain Koda, I think he was released yesterday, BNI, and he says, Captain Koda, he's a retired head of security, of the New Patriotic Party as flag bearer, has sounded alarm bells, warning that the life of Nana Akufo-ADDO is in danger, as some people are planning to assassinate him. And then when you go further in the story, it says that, the people who raided the NPP headquarters declared that their next target is Nanado's residence. We heard it from their mouths that they would come and kill him. We can't sit down for people to happen. When were those declarations made? And if the NPP is aware that indeed those people have made such declaration, why have they not engaged the police then? Well,
that is the question I want to ask. The people who are releasing those stories, we should ask them one simple question. Did you report this matter to the police? They must give us a clear answer. Probably the police are doing some undercover work. Okay? Two people. The person making up the statement, the media should have asked that person, is this matter with the police? If he said no, it's not with the police, we are still looking into it, then the media can also go ahead. The police headquarters is just down there. So we just came from a press conference. 2 eminent people of this country, coincidentally, people are planning to assassinate them. That's what we are told, Mr. Police people. Are you aware of this? They can say, well, we are aware, but we will not comment. At least we know that. So we could easily check, okay, with the people who have put out the story. Did you report it to the police? In fact, if you say anything about somebody did something to you, police will ask you, did you report it to the police? We should ask that straight question. I'm not saying that what they are doing is wrong. What I'm just saying is that this matter is so serious that we cannot just put it out there, because there are a lot of claims there. Say next time we will do something. I mean, these are serious matters.
But to be fair to the NPP as well, they have openly expressed quotes, mistrust, or that they don't trust the security agency. So
that's a serious one. That's a serious one. When NPP was in power, NDC people also give the impression that they don't trust the police people. Okay. This is something we should not take serious. Okay. When you're in power, the police is yours. When you're not in power, the police is against you. Okay. But if you don't trust the police, but what other place can we go to if somebody threatens our lives?
They will institute their own security.
Very good. So that means that but they don't have the power to arrest people and lock them up.
Okay.
They can do all the investigation they want to do. All we want to know, all this thing you're telling us now, is the police aware of it, or the police also supposed to pick up the message from the newspaper and start to act on it? It's a straight question. They will say, yes, and don't worry, we are on top of it, we've told the police. We can even go back to the police. These people say they told you about this, what are you doing about it? That's the journalist now going to check up. I don't know whether the journalists have checked on the source of the story. They have done some work. So at the moment, all we know is that there are some claims, which are serious ones, and nobody is telling us whether the people who normally handle these kind of issues are actually doing something either undercover or it's not yet on their table. Okay. I really think that we should have pursued this a bit further.
Yes, but Dr. Kwapon, if, for instance, I mean, given that the NPP mistrust, have some sort of trust issues with the police, this is in the public domain now, right? Would it be okay or good on the part of the police, yes, it's in the police, maybe they've not made official complaints, to also go to the NPP and say, oh, you've made some serious claims. We care about every single life, and so we are in. Tell us what you know, because he's even said that the people who raided the office have said they were going to come back, where he heard that, who told him, so that the police can pick those information and work on it. Wouldn't that be a very good path at building the trust?
Absolutely, absolutely. They should be proactive. I expect the security agencies to be more proactive and forthcoming. Well, the question I wanted to ask was, under the pretext of ensuring security, people have been picked up for causing fear and panic.
Okay.
This is a classic situation whereby this story, fear and panic will be created in this country. Okay. So why are the police slow in this regard? And yet in other respects, the slightest thing, even a statement by a clergyman preaching in a synagogue is taken seriously, and immediately investigations are carried out and people picked up. Look, Mrs. KONADU, together with the husband, had been in power for 19 years. Huge political figure. And if people are threatening her life, why would the police be slow in taking action? And AKUFO-ADDO has been in politics for years. So why will they be slow? I think it's a greater version of people causing fear and panic. Okay. And the police must be up and doing. Yes. Otherwise, they are lending credence to the perception that they are biased and they cannot be trusted by the opposition parties.
Yes. So I mean, like a good example of TB Joshua saying that he had seen an attack, and then he came back to say, well, after the police and other security agencies put in measures, says, oh, they attack, they retreated. So if they have, then you would want to see that they also take action on this matter.
Absolutely.
Without necessarily having the political parties come to them, because they are interested parties, they have trust issues. I mean, the least the police can do is go to them and say, we're willing to offer you our services.
Yes, I think the police, the little I know about the police, if you go and make such a statement in the paper, they may give you a call.
Sure.
I'll be very surprised if the police have not given these people a call already. Okay, because they are supposed to protect the public peace. This kind of news, Nana KONADU have supporters. Is that correct?
Yes.
Nana AKUFO-ADDO also have a lot of supporters. Okay? These statements could incite their supporters. Okay? That if it is true that our leaders are being threatened in this way and even pointing to possible people who could be doing it, you may be causing a little bit of a rampant in the system. I will be very surprised. I don't think the police will be sitting down there waiting for these people to come to them. Okay? But they should have gone to them. But just picking this news from this thing, I will be very surprised if the police didn't make a call.
No, but until it came into the newspapers,
yes.
I mean, maybe public, they don't know about it. So they've seen it. It will also be, it may be reactionary, but it's also a step.
Yeah, I think the police, I will be very surprised. I'll be very surprised, given the significance of these people. And even that, now that it's out in the news, I'll be very surprised if the police have not actually made a call already. Say, look, we read this in the paper.
Okay.
You didn't come to us. What the hell is going on? You make a lot of claims. This guy threatened you, this guy this time, this guy was there, we saw this guy. Can we have a chat on this?
Okay.
Because public peace is at stake here. I'll be very surprised if the police would not have made that call by now.
Okay.
But the point is that if these people have not contacted the police in the first place, as I said, they should have. If it's as serious as they're putting it, and I would also be very surprised if the police read in the paper, they will not just read it and then forget about it. They will have made calls. Okay. But making calls, the police will not come public unless you go and ask them. Police, we read it in the paper. Are you also aware of it? They say, yes, we are aware of it. We made contact, but we'll not give you details. It's up to the journalists to now go to the police. Again, I ask them, are you aware of it? Are we the only one reading the newspapers? Okay, I think there's a lot to be done, but the least we say about this, the better, because these are very explosive times. Okay, and saying that these two personalities' lives are threatened in a political, what do you call it, election year. I think we all need to lower the tempo a little bit, go on the ground, the people who are paid to do that job, investigate it, and if it's true, give them protection, and if they can find that these people are really threatening their life, they take them and lock them up.
Okay. Goy, you make a statement about if it's true.
Yes.
What if it's not true? And what if it's not true? I'm not asking that based on this, but based on maybe other issues. You know, sometimes you're in the country, a story breaks and there's this tension, you know, it goes back and forth, and then it just dies. Police does the investigation, you don't see the conclusion of the investigation. So how about the police, if they investigate such cases and even there's nothing in there, make it known to the public that, okay, yes, there was a lot of noise about this, but we investigated and there is nothing.
Yes, I said in the beginning that if this is true, it's serious. And if it's not true, it's serious. If it's not true.
So what action, you know, if it's not true? That's
if it's not true, certainly, I mean, the police investigated it and said that, well, there's nothing very much to do there. I mean, if you see, police sometimes don't necessarily just give a press conference. Okay? In their nature, they don't do that. Okay? I can't recall the last time the police headquarters called a press conference about this. You must go to them. The media must go to them. This issue came in the paper some 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
That two personalities were threatened. And I'm sure you knew about it. What happened? Should we continue to have an anxiety, or do you think you've settled the matter now? Okay. I think this is again the journalists, okay, the media, and the people who are also putting up the story to go to the police. So just like every time you have a case with the police, you go and check what is the status of our case. I don't think police will, unless something seriously happened and they are forced to make a press statement, but they don't normally do that. But I think that if it is not true, I hope that's not the case. If it's not true, certainly it's worrisome that such a story could be put out, especially to create a little bit of panic in the system. That would be very serious.
The Daily Express.
The police, by their modus operandi, will normally not come out and tell the whole public what they are doing. It's not for like them to do that. So I'm not surprised at times they are quiet over certain issues, even when they have unraveled the mysteries. But way back on campus, we did a bit of student politics. And at times, you put out a story to deter your opponent.
Okay.
Okay.
He said that I was walking down the main avenue and some boys, some students were trying to attack me.
Yes.
When you know too well that nobody is trying to attack you.
So
when you do that,
it could be a tactic.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And
So
KONADU used to be a student leader.
you know, so at times we put out some of these information just so we can raise the necessary awareness and attention, draw attention to yourself, and also deter whoever may be thinking of doing such a thing.
That you're armed.
Yes. But the other thing I want to talk about is that when the 3 South Africans came in, so much publicity was given that event, and the security agencies didn't rest at all. The police, the CID, the BNI, everybody was on top of his game. Now another thing happens, threatening the lives of leading political personalities,
yes.
And we don't see them doing anything. That's where I have an issue.
Okay.
Yes.
What is good for the is good for the
Doc,
you know.
This story
but I'm saying it just broke
out. So this is the beginning. This is not the end.
Okay.
So I would want to see the police take action. You know, by, at least by 9 a.m., 10 a.m., we should hear something from the police, and then we would know that they are doing something. Okay. Now moving to the president. Now the president inaugurated, you know, the 5th community SHS. Now there's a twist to the story that I'm particularly interested in now. But let me just read, you know, page 16, where it talks about, you know, government took yet another step towards expanding access to secondary education. You know, when President John Mahama inaugurated the Nchumuruman Community Day Senior High School and Nchumuruman. Now, the Daily Express has captured that, but took, you know, pictures at, you know, what the president tour of the Volta region is. And if you look at the center spread, there are pictures of the president tour, and, you know, you could see party supporters who are chasing, you know, the vehicle. Let me see. I hope it's, let me just make it a bit better. Right. Okay. The accountant to the People's Tour, President Mahama says that, you know, they've given him the mandates, and he's going around, you know, whether commissioning projects, you know, whether schools, the polytechnics, all of that. And then people say, well, he's just campaigning. 1, 2, he's abusing incumbency. And they cite where you have people wearing party colors show up for such things. Let me pick your initial thought on what you make of the president going around and saying that, look, you gave me the mandate, this is what I have done. There you go. What do you mean?
Yeah, my big question is, why now? For the past 3 years, 4 years, he's been fulfilling the promises he made, the mandate that was given him. Why this election year? And
they just finished the school.
Why is he putting in so much effort to tell the whole nation that you gave me a mandate, I promised to deliver, I have delivered? If you've been doing well over the years, the works will speak for you. So I'm surprised. I mean, at times, politics becomes a child play when a substation is commissioned by the whole head of state. When you have a regional minister, you have a district chief executive, you have the sector minister and all that. It's fine to account to the people, but you have to go physically visiting every location in Ghana and telling them that I promise to give you a secondary school. You see, I've built it. Can't other people do it? Why do we have delegation in management?
Just a quick follow-up question. Just a quick follow-up question, and then you continue about. He promised them that I was going to do this. I'm going to build 200 schools. He says he'll be able to do 123 schools, right? And I have done it. The regional minister was there, you know, with other education minister, deputy education minister. They were all present there. So if he says, I said this, I came and stood on this platform, what is wrong with that then?
Oh, there's nothing wrong, but I'm saying that the timing. So people are construing it to mean that he's already campaigning for his next term.
Okay.
And when you do that, at times you say things that expose you to further attacks and ridicule. You said we're going to build 200 schools. You've built 5. You commissioned the 5th one.
Sure.
5 over 200 times 100 is what? 2.5%.
Yeah.
So you are opening yourself up for people to attack you.
Sure.
And why will you do that? Okay. Now for 3 weeks running, Western region, Eastern region, Volta region. His seat at the presidency. Who is sitting in it and who is running the show? Do we have the luxury of time for the president to be away for 3 weeks just showcasing things that he's done for the nation.
He wasn't away for 3 weeks. I think they go 3 days and come back. And then come to Plaster House. That's where he met the Council of States.
Okay, so my point is that yes, you've done well. Let the job that you've done speak for you, rather than for you personally going there as if you are so desperate for a second term that you have to go and do what people down the line can do. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, desperation and also abuse of incumbency.
Absolutely.
Prof.
Well, if he walks like a duck, he quacks like a duck, it sounds like a duck, there is a duck.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Did the president say he's not campaigning? Is that what he said? He's campaigning. And nothing wrong with that. Incumbency is always used that way. Okay. Well, look at our history. Look back. Let's go back. All presidents of this country around this time start campaign. So what he's doing, did the president say he's not campaigning? Then what is he doing?
Yeah, he said he's accounting to the people.
He's accounting. He's doing campaign. Let's be frank about it. The president is campaigning. The people he's meeting know he's campaigning. Did he mention, during his study, did he mention the word vote? He might have mentioned the word vote for the NDC.
Renew their mandates.
Yes. He used the word that I've done this and I expect you to bring us back to power. Is that correct?
Sure.
That is campaign. Is that correct? He didn't say that I just opened this school for you. This is what I promise you. He said, I promise you this, I've delivered, so give me another mandate. Vote for me. When you say vote for me, is what? Campaign. So the president is campaigning. And I don't see anything wrong with that. He's not the first president to do that. Incumbency is always used that
abused.
Well, it may be abused, but I would prefer to use the word used that way. KUFO used it for the second term. Raleigh used it a couple of times. Okay? Presidents always use that, especially if they are going for the second term. Then AKUFO-ADDO cannot do that. He could campaign for 4 years if you want to, but you will not call it abuse of incumbency. Okay. You just say it's campaigning. You say the president is not in the office. These days, the president can run the country, not be at Flagstaff House. Okay? There's all technologies. Some of his teams are following him all over the place. He's making telephone calls. He's signing it. He's doing a lot of things as he's going. American presidents do that. So presidents don't have to sit at the headquarters these days to run the country. So I'm sure he's doing that. But once we agree that the president is doing campaign, then you can ask the question, is it wrong for him to do that? Has it been done?
I was coming to
yes, is it wrong?
Answer the question.
How many months do we have for the elections? Right?
We're in April, so
it's about 6 months. 6, 7 months.
May, June, July, August, September, October.
And you think the president will not start campaign? You wait to 3 months before to get a signal for somebody? No. The president is campaigning. Of course, it will not be politically correct for him to say that I'm campaigning. But even a primary school child in the voter region, in the eastern region, in the western region that you went to, know that the president is campaigning for next term.
Renewal.
If this were MAHAMA'S second term, okay? If this is his last term, okay? I don't think he will have been going around campaigning. Obama, this is his last term.
He's traveling.
He's traveling. He's in Saudi Arabia. Yes, tomorrow he'll be celebrating, he'll be cutting cake with the Queen. Yes, celebrating the Queen's 90th birthday. But look at when he was moving from his first term to the second term. Is that correct? Around this time, he was doing some campaigning. So this is something that should be expected. For the president to say that I am not campaigning, I don't think we are that. I think if he walks like a duck, he sounds like a duck, and he quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Okay,
but let me say this,
that you see, you have to exhibit integrity in everything you do as a head of state.
Yes.
People have asked the question, has he started his campaign? Is he rolling out his campaign? And then you hear, what do you call them, the spokesperson? Communicators saying that, oh, no. He's only accounting to the people. Then yesterday we had a conflicting statement from Ofosu Ampofo saying that, oh yes, he's campaigning.
Yes.
So then you see these conflicts creates a lot of doubt about your integrity as the first gentleman of the land.
Yes.
That's what I will say on that.
Yes.
The second thing is that incumbency is not bad per se. But when we say you are abusing your incumbency, then we are saying that you are using state resources to your advantage.
Yes.
50 Pajar, what do you call it? 4-wheel drives or V8s.
Yes.
Those who ride motorcycles, so many of them.
Yes.
Everything stops in a regional capital or district capital when the president is there.
Yes.
And the amount of money, the pump and page entry,
yes,
and everything else tells you that, look, this man is not allowing us to play the game on a level playing field. And that is what I'm thinking that is a bit out of place. Okay. If we've done so well in the past 3 years, 4 years, and you know that what you have, for him to have said in voter region yesterday that, oh, I'm very satisfied with, as if he has set a question for himself. He has marked himself and is giving himself 100%. And I know that people will vote me back into power.
Yes.
No, it's like child play, you know.
Just a quick one on it, and both of you can take that, you know, about the abuse. And I think you touched on it just a little bit about the resources that is available to him. He's the president of the country, so he enjoys state security. Mm-hmm. But the other question is that, yes, you can have the state security, but how about use your private vehicle if you're campaigning, and then because if you claim it's Ghana, you've done project for Ghanaians and all, then people should not come there in party colors.
Very good. You see, before these guys started this account to the people tour, they've talked through this. They debated it.
Okay.
Is it not too early? Won't people say that it's campaigning? They say, oh God, if they say it's campaigning, we say no, it's not campaigning. That's the answer. Okay? God, when they say it, you say that it's not campaigning. Of course, we will not say we are campaigning. It's already agreed. But one thing they will not do is not to do what they're doing now.
Okay.
They will certainly want to take advantage of incumbency.
Okay.
Okay? The president said, do you want me to ride bicycle to voter region? I am the president of Ghana.
Okay.
I had to go with all this security. Well, I'm still doing my work as a president, but as incumbency, which I'm taking advantage of, but I'm not going to admit it publicly, is for you to see.
Okay.
Is that correct? Yes. For me, let's be frank about it. I do accept this. Is it a question of integrity? At least one guy is saying that they're campaigning. Is that correct? Another guy said they're not campaigning. I said these guys have discussed this before they even went to the Western region. That people are likely to construe this as what? Campaigning. Okay? I'm sure they might refer to precedents. Come on. Sure. Do you really think that we take it's just like having a football. There's an empty goal. You say that, well, because I'm a nice man, I'm not going to shoot and score. Okay? They say, come on. We have the ball. We have the empty goal. We will use it. If they ask us, we explain it. But as I said, a primary school child, when you see the president.
So, I mean, you don't need the president to say he's campaigning because, I mean,
Well, did we ask him whether, Mr. President, are you campaigning? Did we ask him that question? And did he come and say, no, I'm not campaigning? We were asking his, his mandates. Is that correct? The lieutenant. One guy says he's campaigning. For me, to be frank with you, we don't need to ask the president anything.
Okay.
We can all see things. When it's a campaigning, we know it's campaigning. You may ask, say, well, do you have to use state resources for that? That's another issue. That's another issue. Is it right for you to use state resources for that? You say, well, I'm going to report to the people in the voter region. I always have this encourage. So once in a while, I chip me a little bit that they should vote for me the next time around. I said, let's assume it. Mahama wins this election and come the second time. 4 years this time. Do you think Mahama will be going around voter region telling people, accounting to the people when it's finished? He will not do it. Although he has spent another 4 years, he will not go around and say, I'm going to account. Or you say, I'm coming to around to say bye-bye to you guys. He is campaigning. We may debate whether it's good for him to use national resources. I'm sure all presidents in the past have used it, not only in Ghana, all over the world. But it's a matter that for him to accept that. But let's ask him. If he says he's not campaigning, I say, Mr. President, it's not true. You are campaigning. It's as simple as that.
So if he's campaigning, then it justifies why people show up with the party colors.
That's what I said. The people coming there knows that the president is campaigning. That's why they came there in party colors.
To lend their support.
To lend their support. It's as simple as that. Do you see MPP guys showing up there? Are they not citizens of voter region also? And the school that was built, is the only NDC guy, kids who go going to the school? Are there not MP people in that neighborhood? Why didn't they come and greet their president? Because the president is campaigning.
But you see, we are growing as a democracy. And so you must look up to certain models that have been established. Look at the American model of campaigning and the use of state resources. Look at the Canadian way of doing things. In 1989, I was in Toronto when the then Prime Minister of Canada came to downtown Toronto to thank the community for the way they comported themselves when the G8 met in Toronto. He came in a Greyhound bus, and I couldn't see a single police person. I believe the people who were dressed in suits were perhaps, some of them were security persons. But it was a little days. In the middle of a runabout, he stood there, spoke to the whole nation for about 10 minutes, and he was off. No, what do I call it? Pomp and pageantry and particular. No. Their style of democracy is beautiful. And that way we appeal to people's conscience in asking them to vote for you, but not to go and open a borehole, commission a borehole.
We are a developing nation. The Canadians don't campaign on a number of roads they built. They don't campaign on a number of schools they built, because those are not the issues. A developing nation, you must tell the people how many schools you built, how many potholes you filled. That is I think we are in a pothole environment. But
the entourage, about 20 people.
That's why I made the point that he's the president, so he enjoys state security because he is the president.
Can't you be modest?
Well, you can tell him to be modest not only when he go on that tour. When Atamis came in, is that correct? Remember, he reduced his wife.
Absolutely.
I don't know whether Mahama actually beefed it up, but that is another matter. But I think incumbency means that you have the power. Is the power in this case is the capacity to do something. Is that correct? It has the capacity, the resources to use it, okay, for his campaign. Now AKUFO-ADDO unfortunately don't have that capacity and resources. Have you been receiving text messages for you to donate money for the NPP campaign? Is the NDC doing that too?
No.
They have the capacity. That's part of the incumbency.
Okay, all right. Then. Quick one. Okay. All right. So this will be the final topic for discussion this one. Just quick comments about a story in the Head newspaper, which is in page 5.
Yes.
And we'll look at that story, and then we'll call it a day here. And here it says here that the New Patriotic Party has warned that it cannot guarantee peace after the elections if transparency and fairness is not ensured in the polls. There ought to be, quote, there ought to be a level playing field. If you do not do so, you give an impression that you're cheating me, twisting my arms, to even deny me what I have won. Lots of things can happen. I cannot guarantee. This is a story that they picked from Star FM online. Quick comments on it.
Who is saying that?
They are alluding it to what is called, actually saying to the chairman of the party, acting chairman of the party, Freddie Blay. Yes.
That they cannot guarantee
peace if the process is rigged, if the polls are rigged.
Again, that is a serious matter. What it means is that certainly yes. Nobody will want a situation where the polls are rigged. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yes. But again, to say for Freddie Blay, is that correct? To say that if the polls are rigged, we cannot guarantee the security of the state. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is a fundamental statement to make. Very fundamental. And again, we need to be a bit cautious about some of our pronouncements. You're saying that if this happens, I will not guarantee the peace of the nation. I can't read.
But he has a legitimate. He's saying that if it's rigged.
Yes.
Conditional.
Yes, I know that. But you could have said it another way around.
Okay.
That it is important that this election, nobody try to rig it. Is that correct? We will not be happy with that. But you say that if it's rigged, we will not guarantee the peace. Is that what he said? The peace of this nation. Is that correct?
The peace, yes, it cannot be guaranteed, yes.
I don't know whether it's the headline. Okay,
yes, that's why I quoted him.
That is not the way he said it.
I quoted him in the story. That's when I read the story.
Yes.
Let me just read.
That's why I asked who said it.
No, he says there ought to be a level playing field.
Yes.
If you don't do so, I'm quoting him, you give me an impression that you are cheating me, twisting my arms, even denying me what I have won. I cannot guarantee what will happen. the party cannot guarantee. We, the executives, we who are at the top, the presidential candidates, cannot guarantee if the ordinary people get angry. God forbid if they decide that they won't agree to what is happening, and some people take the law into their own hands. What can we do?
Yes. So it didn't say that I cannot guarantee the peace of the nation. It didn't say that. It's saying that if this happens, we cannot guarantee, we cannot stop people from getting excited.
Sure.
I think that is okay. Okay, so I think it's very important for us. I think it's a headline which is a little bit misleading. It didn't say that if this happened, we cannot guarantee the peace of this nation. If he said that, that's a serious thing to say. Or he's saying that if you cheat people, okay, nobody can stop them for complaining that you cheated them. I think that's what he's saying. I think that is in order. Okay? One cannot take too much from that. Because, as I said, the situation is already tense. He didn't say that I will not guarantee the peace of the state because you have no power whether to guarantee or not to guarantee. All he's saying is that.
But he's saying that, you see, for the ordinary person, if they believe, if they believe that the polls have been unfair and they get angry, of course you can't guarantee what would come out of.
But he's saying the obvious. He's saying the obvious. That if people feel that they are cheated, if you cheat me now, I will not be happy. That's all he's saying. He's not saying anything more than that. He's just saying that if people feel cheated, okay, we cannot stop them from feeling angry. He's just saying the obvious.
Sure.
He didn't say anything more than that. He didn't say that we cannot guarantee the peace of this country. He can't say that. Okay? So he just said that.
Okay.
We can't stop them from being angry. He has a right to say that. Right.
But we've got to put in steps, to avoid people being angry, to eliminate, suspicion, to eliminate the mistrust that, the process is being rigged. Those steps must be taken because, like he's saying, they can't guarantee what, how people will take it.
Yes.
Given whatever happens.
Well, you see, in an election year where tempers are already high, you have to be careful what you say.
Yep. You
have put quite an interesting interpretation to the story. When she read it, I had a different understanding. And you will have realized that I was shaking my head. NPP claims to have the best democratic credentials in this country in terms of free speech and free everything, and they believe in the rule of law. If you believe in the rule of law and somebody cheats, there is a procedure to follow to cure the mischief and to restore order. When you say that we cannot guarantee, it means that you are assuming the power of controlling peace in this country. And that's the way somebody may interpret it. And I think it's dangerous at a time when we are preparing for elections. The signal being sent out to people who may not be that discerning as you are, who say that, well, Freddie Blaze says, if the elections are rigged, there will be war. So it's dangerous. No, as a political leader, the chairman of a major political party like NPP shouldn't be saying this at all. You stay away from some of these statements. They are dangerous, and it depends on the kind of interpretation people put on them. Now, even when NPP suspected strongly that they had been cheated in the last elections, what did they do? They went to court, the Supreme Court, and a verdict was declared. I think that's a very civil way of handling matters, rather than standing in the wings and shouting war songs. It doesn't do anybody any good. So we should be careful what we say in this hard times, or this highly politically charged atmosphere.
All right, but to be fair to the NPP as well, they have very serious concern about the processes leading up to elections. So if a chairman of the party has been interviewed and about what the likelihood implications of whether actions or inactions of major stakeholders, I think it's fair for him to say, look, we've got to be fair. We've got to address our concerns. If we don't do those things, things could happen.
But I'm saying that this is a veiled threat. A veiled threat from the chairman of a major political party. And it's not good for the peace of this country. It shouldn't come from him. It's not good enough. Some small errand boy in the party can say that. And we can take it for granted.
That's correct.
But from the chairman of the party, no, it's dangerous. And I don't like it.
All right, then. I would like to say a very big thank you to you, Professor Clement Judonu, President of the Accra Institute of Technology, and also Dr. Edward Kwaponti, HR Perspective, who joined me this morning to look at, the paper's major stories. Also, you can go to our website, tv3network.com. We've got other interesting story there as well.